Ready.
Welcome to episode 73 of the Go Get 'em Agility podcast. My name is Margaret Hughes, and I'm your host, along with my daughter, Emma Hughes. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
What are we talking about today?
A very feared topic. We are talking about xylitol, which is a substance found in a lot of sugar-free foods like gum or jam, and is highly, 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 highly toxic to dogs.
Why are we talking about, how do you pronounce it?
Xylitol.
Xylitol. Why are we talking about xylitol?
Because our good friend Jack, my dog, ingested 10 pieces of xylitol gum last Monday. He was in my room, and I've had xylitol gum. By the way, xylitol is spelled X-Y-L-O, whatever. It is not with a Z. So if you're looking for it on ingredients, it starts with an X. Anyway, so he ingested gum. I didn't even know that I had the gum. I had bought it years ago for my Invisalign for dental. Xylitol is really good for your cavities, so it'll clean your teeth really well, which is why people use it. And so I got it for my Invisalign, and got done with the Invisalign, all good, stuck the gum on top of my dresser, and forgot about it for a year and a half. And then Mr. Jack came along, and he has gotten up on my dresser once, and that should have been my warning sign of, hey, this dog can get up here. He didn't get anything. He was just up there. That's where I keep his bones. So my dresser's kind of long, and I keep his bones on one side. And so he had gone up there for a bone, right? Grabbed a bone, come back down. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So I didn't know. So he got up there, right, with a chair. There's normally a chair next to my desk, anyway, that goes onto the dresser. So I go into the shower, and I come back out, and Jack is with gum. He has the packet all around him, and there's one piece left on the floor, and he was probably in the middle of eating that piece when I came in. I was like, oh my god, hi. So I knew that gum had xylitol in it. I had bought it specifically for the xylitol, so I'm like, shoot, okay. So I take him downstairs. He is acting completely normal. He is eating, drinking. I took him out to go to the bathroom, and he was completely fine. We went to the closest emergency vet. So we get in there, and they say, okay, we're going to induce vomiting. And so they induce vomiting, and he had not ingested the gum, or he had not digested the gum, sorry. And so everything came back out. And poison control, the vets got on the phone with poison control, and poison control said, yeah, well, he's a baby, and he ingested a ton of it. He ingested 3 times the amount of the toxicity level of dogs for their liver. He ingested 3 times that amount. And poison control was like, hey, you guys need to be careful about this. And so they kept him overnight. I freaked out. I have never cried so hard in my life. And he was fine. His numbers were fine the entire time. His blood sugar was good. His liver levels were good. He was eating, drinking. But we were really worried about the socialization aspect as well. Obviously, we wanted Jack to be healthy, right? But we were also worried about leaving him overnight in a vet's office, right?
Yeah, but I was going to ask you about something else.
Okay.
Why is xylitol okay for humans but not for dogs? So I think the reason so one of the questions that I had was, okay, if xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs, why is it in human product? And apparently humans and cats.
Yeah, it's okay for cats too.
Humans and cats digest it differently, and it doesn't drop our insulin like it can for dogs. So dogs can not only go into liver failure, but byproduct. We don't know a whole lot about it. We're not vets. So definitely just know that it's extremely toxic to dogs by the way that the body absorbs the xylitol. And one of the bad things about the specific gum that Emma's dog got is that the xylitol is one of the main coatings on the outside of the gum. So even if they got it out fast, it's the first thing to dissolve in his stomach and the first thing to go into his body. You were talking about his mental well-being. So do you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, so they kept him for 24 hours. They allowed me to visit him when I left and stuff like that. And he was not doing too hot when I left him. We left him at 3 in the morning, and so I left at 3 in the morning, and he was shaking. He was not happy. He attacked my face. Well, he didn't attack me, but he attacked my face. He licked me, and the vets ended up giving him anti-anxiety medication, which probably, he was a little woozy when I saw him, and then I had to leave, and that was really hard. I actually thought about sitting in the lobby for 24 hours, but that wasn't viable. And so then I fell asleep at like 5 in the morning, and then woke up at 8, and I called them first thing, and they said that he was doing really well, and that he was really sweet, and that he was licking them as whenever they did blood draws, and that he was allowing them to pet him and kiss him and all stuff like that, which I was really, really pleased about. And I know that he wasn't comfortable. I know Jack, and I know that it would take a million years for him to be comfortable in a situation like that. But I'm just glad that there was no restraint needed for like aggression. He didn't try to bite them. He didn't try to, he wasn't actively trying to get away. He just kind of went catatonic, which made the process easier in the end, I think.
Yeah, when I went and saw him, so we were there for an hour and a half before they allowed us to take him home on the pickup, and he was still attached to his catheter for an IV, so they supported him with IV fluids. And I was shocked at how calm he was. He was needing to go to the bathroom, but he was just not chewing on his catheter. He was not barking, or he was just normal, right? I mean, like, we opened the cage door and he played tug with you, and he was totally normal, but you could tell that he was like, can we go now? Like, he was tolerating it really well. And at that time, I'm pretty sure that the anxiety medication had worn off by that time. And so, yeah, he was not in a stupor at any time, but he definitely had the edge taken off of him, or he was just without medication by the time that I saw him. So that was really good. He really almost had a flooding effect, maybe. He was doing really well. But the main reason that we're doing this podcast is to let you know how severely toxic Xylitol can be. And even though Jack never had any symptoms, it can hit them at any time, and they can go into liver failure very, very quickly if you don't catch it. So if you know that your dog is eating Xylitol or something extremely toxic, definitely get them to the vet quickly so they can get IV support, get them to vomit up whatever substance, if that's a viable thing. Some things you don't want vomited back up because it does more damage going the other direction. But in this case, they wanted to induce vomiting, and they were successful in that. So
I also wanted to say that he ingested 10 pieces of gum. I already said that, but they were teeny tiny little pieces. But I have heard reports of larger dogs even ingesting 1 piece, and it was enough to send them to the ER. So it's not really he had a little bit, so he'll pass it. Any amount is fatal, especially to young dogs, to old dogs, and to small dogs. But obviously, I read a story of a Rottweiler that had 1 piece and was in critical condition. So it's yeah.
Do you know the symptoms that dogs can show?
Jack showed none of these symptoms, but seizures, shaking, lethargy, high heart rate, what else? Unable to urinate.
Any blood in the stool or anything like
Yes,
that?
actually. I think that was one of the symptoms as well. They gave us a sheet, and I read all the pamphlets in the waiting room as well.
All right, well, I'm super glad that he's okay, and I'm really sorry that you went through it. I know it was a complete fluke that he even found it. You didn't even know the gum was there. And I mean, and he even brought out what it was like in like a little dish, right?
Yeah,
And
he
brought
took
out
it out of the dish.
Yeah, and he brought out, like, wasn't there like $1 in there as well?
Yeah, it was in I have like a dish where when I expel my pockets, like stuff that's in my pockets, I just put it in here. So it was 2 sets of car keys, money, 2 chapsticks, like a bunch of keychains and stuff that I'd collected, and then the gum, which was like shoved at the bottom. And he went around the chapstick and the money. He didn't even tear up the money. Went around the money and around the keys, and he's like, "This is what I need." It was watermelon flavored too, which I hope he enjoyed in the moment at least, because nothing else about that was enjoyable at all.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I just wanted to do a PSA real quick about peanut butter. So xylitol can be found in sugar-free peanut butter as well, and I know that peanut butter is really common to give dogs, and they also call it birch sugar, because xylitol is kind of a scary-looking word, and so companies will say, oh, birch sugar, because it sounds more natural. So if you see birch sugar or xylitol in sugar-free peanut butter, I would not feed that to your dog.
That's really important. Good job. All right, take care of your dogs. And thanks for sharing this valuable information with everybody, Emma.
I'm just glad he's okay. He's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned out good. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those situations where once it's happening, it's like, okay, you can't really panic now, right? It's what's done is done, and you try. The vets will try their best to help, and they did. They saved his life. So yeah.
All right. Happy training, y'all. Woof woof.
Woof woof.
Ready.